what the impact, well, let me ask the question, do we know what impact the labor rate has on the sewer increases?
Mm-hmm.
Is that in the package and I just missed it?
It is, I doubt that you missed it, Mr. Bolin. It is a computation that's in there based off of the labor that is put just to that portion of the utility itself.
Okay. Well, I think that's one thing that'd be nice to be completely visible to the people. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mr. Bolin. And just so you know, we have, although folks may not have heard about it loudly enough, we are in labor negotiations currently with our police department. We have already had one vote to reopen the contract for the Public Works employees, which is not due to expire until the end of 2011. And we have also had some preliminary discussions with the fire union as well about potentially talking about their contract prior to its expiration in the end of 2011 as well. So yes, your comments are well placed, and we are already taking steps and have been the last few months to enter into negotiations and discussions with those various unions. Other members of the public that would like to speak in regards to the water, sewer, and stormwater rate increases? Yes.
Sherry and Wright, 35514 Southeast Sunset View, Part 2. I wasn't really going to talk on this issue, but the current billing on water, I believe, is that the more you use, the less expensive it is. So something needs to be changed on the billing procedures. This was discussed about 4 or 5 years ago in council, but nothing ever came about. So there will be no incentive to save or conserve water. And I assume the city is expecting to make a certain amount based on the usage now. And if people do start conserving, which they will when they see the new water rate, because the bi-monthly will go from $119.12 to $144.61, which comes out $72.30 a month without using the water. And so if you expect to make that amount and the city starts conserving, the residents start conserving, what will happen is what Clark Utilities did to us. We saved so much on energy, Clark Utilities didn't make enough money to meet their budget, so they raised the rates. And that's what I feel, that by raising these rates, which are really high, because Camas rates will be $36 a month. And I know Camas has a grant and so forth, but there's still issues to look at, because if you raise the rates too high, people can't use the water, or they'll be leaving. There's 61 foreclosures in Washougal right now. People that rent will just go move to Camas. That's not so far away. But I think other things will be changing in the demographics here. So just, I believe there's other areas in the budget where we can gain resources, and that I know will be addressed, and I'll see you at the next workshop too. Thank you.
Thank you. Second call for any members of the public that would like to speak. Yes, Larry.
Good evening, Council. Larry Keister, 4402 Southeast Zitzelberger Road, Washougal. My family owns rental property in the area, and a rate increase is going to affect basically how we do business. Most of our renters, in fact, all of our renters with the exception of one, live basically paycheck to paycheck. They're just hardworking people. The one that is different has a mental disability, and he has no ability, no way to increase his income. You know, we talk about people on a fixed income. Well, he is on a fixed income. So we're going to have to make a decision as to how we run our business. And this is going to be a difficult family decision to make, because like everybody else, we're kind of paycheck to paycheck also. But what came up in workshop and what really made me start thinking a little bit differently is you've got yourself into a situation now where a decision has to be made not only for this council, but what is going to happen in the future. And when you make your vote, think of not that during the time that you're sitting on council, But what is going to happen in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, in the next 15 years? Because that seems to be how we got into the situation now, where we have to have such a large rate increase. So although it's a difficult vote to take, because you are affecting people in the community, myself and all of us, I think it has to be viewed as what is best for the community now, and also what is best in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Any other members of the public wishing to speak on the utility rate increases? Okay, final call for any members of the public? Okay, seeing no additional, I'll close the public hearing. The way we've got this built this evening, we're actually going to handle each one of these separately. So I guess at this point, I would ask just in regards to the presentation from Mr. Evers and from public comments, if there are any general questions before we get into each of the individual rate increases in their ordinances.
Questions or comments? Or both?
Either one.
Yeah.
Yes.
As has been pointed out, we've gotten ourselves into a situation where we need to take action. And Larry, I applaud your approach to including the future in budget considerations. It can't be just the present and the future, but it's also got to include the past. And the past has put us in this situation to some degree. The other thing that's put us in this situation is constant requirements for improvements coming from the state and federal level, not the fate and federal level. And at some point, I have to ask them, what is an increment of improvement worth to you? I think we're just about at the point, if not just beyond the point, of diminishing returns. So I understand your concerns. I understand the impact it has on you. It has it on me too. Obviously not to the degree, because I'm just dealing with my own home situation, but it's not inconsiderable. I think that through a past policy of somewhat misguided benevolence, we've gotten ourselves into a situation where now we've got to raise rates. And the reason for that is that if we don't, we expose ourselves to the danger of a state takeover. If we can't do the job, if our facilities don't meet the standards, the state will come in and take it over. They'll use their own people to run it. They'll bring them down here. They'll live in motels at our expense. And the expense for the water facilities will go up, not down, while they correct the problems. So as distasteful as it is to raise rates to this degree, and I've talked to a lot of people in this community about this, I've had my ear bent quite a bit by homeowners and business owners both. At this point, I'm looking for a way out of it, and I don't find one. We have a fiduciary responsibility as a board to do what is best for the city, to ensure that the citizens of this city receive the services that they pay for and they're required to get for health and safety. So I